Without further ado, General Austin.
All right, thank you, Chris. I appreciate the intro. So Eric Austin, I am a repeat offender here, and when I came here last year, I just confessed to Molly I was about 3 weeks into the job, and I made it all up. So, and you invited me back, so I'm proud of myself. Pleased to be back, but honestly, for a number of reasons, had a really great, capping off day 2 of our collective trip up here to New England, to include mixing it up with a couple of industry partners in the area. It's clearly evident how much is going on in southeast New England from that perspective. Walking the floor last night and again today, meeting some old friends, making some new friends. Got to run in on the cliff walk. I think I saw some of you out there, right, this morning? It's kind of dark, so it may have been somebody else. But and then, spectacular weather. It's not a terrible time to be in Newport, Rhode Island. So I'm the closer. I heard Chris say that twice. So acutely aware of that, but my plan is to talk a little bit about what's going on in your Marine Corps and our Marine Corps as we modernize as rapidly and responsibly as we can, and then open it up to questions, and I hope I'll elicit a couple of questions. I got the troublemakers. They're right under the bright light over there, but there's a couple of friends sitting over there that I'm keeping my eye on, and if that doesn't work, my wife's a school teacher, and I've got 5 stickers for the first 5 questions. Jenny, you didn't know I was going to whip these out, did you? So please get ready. I know somebody wants a sticker from Combat Development Integration. So thanks to Tim, Molly, Chris, and the whole team that puts this together. Secretary Gertin, it's great to see you again, sir, from SENEDIA and the industry sponsors and the industry partners. I will tell you, the conversations that we have with industry are flat out vital, and you all understand that. We're not always good at it. We're getting better at it, but I'm just late to need reading this book, but Freedom's Forge, I'm sure you all read that a long time ago. What an amazing read. If you haven't read it, but it just drives home in a really poignant fashion how important these conversations are and how important industry is to our success as a nation. You all understand that, but opportunities like this to talk in a plenary session is really important. So thank you for those that put this together. So Eric Austin, Marine. I worked as a requirements officer within Combat Development and Integration. They kicked me out to the 1st Island Chain to 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, commanded that for 2 years, and then Commandant said, congratulations, we're going to pull you right back to headquarters, and put me as a Deputy Commandant for Combat Development Integration, and it's dual hat for Marine Corps Combat Development Command. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that I've got my supporting fires here. He's got my back right there. That's Sergeant Major Pete Siaw, who is one of our most experienced senior enlisted leaders in the Marine Corps, period, underlined exclamation point, and the good fortune to have served in the headquarters a couple times, and most recently for nearly, I guess, a little over 3 years at 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, where he came to join us recently from. So I will happily toss hard questions to him and lean on him for fill-ins and any questions you may have, because he's been campaigning hard and very recently all over the 1st Island Chain in his past life, and is a welcome addition to our team. So, bottom line up front, ladies and gentlemen, the Marine Corps has changed for the better. We're implementing Commandant Berger's and now Commandant Smith's force design vision, heavily influenced by an iterative and very real campaign of learning. We're making adjustments, we're making changes, and I will tell you that it takes institutional humility to make those changes, because you understand how you can get momentum, but we're doing it, and I'm very proud of that, and that's something that's important to all of us. Well-informed, good decisions with an analytic underpinning, which means we're making hard decisions, and most of those hard decisions are simply based on resources, and you all understand that. We're fielding capabilities today that were born on PowerPoint slides 5 or 6 years ago and didn't even exist a couple of years ago, in addition to many of our programs of record that are vital to us, but an example, and I'll talk about this a couple times in my comments, it's the Nemesis. Does anyone know what Nemesis is? All right. Of course you do, sir. Navy Marine Expeditionary Ship Interdiction System. Somebody got an award for that. It wasn't me. But the Nemesis, I got another one coming up later for you, another acronym for you. But Nemesis is taking 2 Naval Strike missiles, a very capable missile, putting it on an unmanned JLTV chassis, pairing it with a command vehicle, and setting it out in places that are hard to find to hold surface combatants at risk. Well, that was on a bar napkin 6 years ago, and guess what? They're fielded forward with a 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment campaigning in the Philippines and Japan right now. As a matter of fact, if you're watching the open press, We recently had them in Balakatan, sitting on Batanes Island, which is about halfway between the northern point of Luzon and Taiwan. Sergeant Major was walking the ground, got to see him out there in person, and they can hold that whole strait at risk from there, and people are paying attention. So again, things that existed in PowerPoint are happening. We're implementing force design. It's really, really exciting. We have a ways to go. We have to scale. We have to field at scale. We have to iterate. We have to continue to learn, to adapt, and to modernize. And to reference Senator Reed's comments yesterday, and I won't go into a threat speech. I think we all understand that, but he did a really nice job, I thought, of articulating the risk that we have from just a national security, a geopolitical sense right now across the globe. It's a dangerous time, and the threat is very real. I was pleased with his comments, but I guess the point I'll make in the end, there she is. I see you, Jenny. All right, I know where you are too. I got the Marines there and Jenny over there. So okay, hey, no one in the Marine Corps Force Development Enterprise is getting bored right now. I will tell you that because there's a lot of righteous work to do. So let me, I'm going to cheat a little bit here, if I will. We're putting together a force design update because I don't know about you, but I find that sometimes I think that everyone knows what I'm doing, and then I come up for air and I realize no one knows what I'm doing. So the Commandant has asked us to put together a kind of a comprehensive report on what's going on with the Marine Corps force design for the year. And within it, we have offered a draft. So please don't publish this or anything. I'm going to read you the draft value proposition. I like it. It's a little bit long, but here's what I think the Marine Corps does. The Marine Corps is a globally responsive, lethal, combined arms naval expeditionary force that projects power from sea to land and land to sea and maneuvers across all domains and contested environments to deter, deny, and defeat adversaries. Marines operating ashore and afloat conduct sea denial, contribute to sea control, and conduct amphibious operations to limit adversary freedom of action while extending Joint Force Commanders' operational reach. Forward forces optimized to operate in the littorals, gain access, defend, protect, and persist in austere areas to deliver lethal effects, sense and make sense of the operating environment, and close kill webs in support of fleet maneuver and joint campaigning. It's a lot, but you can unpack that a little bit, and I think it's a reasonably accurate depiction of what we do for a living. Now to avoid the next slide call and realizing I've actually got it right here. So, hey, today, 33,329 Marines are operating forward around the globe. That's a third of our total operating force that's forward deployed in some capacity. Campaigning, posturing, deterring, and in some cases they're fighting right now. You may or may not know about it. Per our strategic guidance, we have a priority theater. It's Indo-PACOM. We have a priority threat. It's China. You may have known that. But we stand ready to serve in any climate and place. The Marine Corps does windows, ladies and gentlemen. We're eager to go where we are directed, but that is our strategic direction. Our team is organized around the Marine Expeditionary Force construct with the enablers and the teamwork that is provided. The sum of the parts is greater than the whole when you combine the ground combat element, the logistics combat element, the aviation combat element, and our headquarters element. That said, I would be foolish not to mention what's on the top right of the picture in front of you, which is an amphib minus the ARGMU, but you can tell that they're probably out doing a mission in this capacity in that picture. But the Amphibious Ready Group, combined with the Marine Expeditionary Unit, is one of our key fighting formations. It really provides lethal response options for decision makers. It creates dilemmas for our adversaries, and it supports campaigning alongside our allies. It's powerful. It's important. Our vision as a service, our North Star, per our Commandant's guidance, is to get back to the future and return to a position where we have what we call a 3.0 ARG-MU presence. And by that I mean, when I was a young guy on MUs, we would be leaving San Diego while another MU would pass us coming back from a 6-month deployment, Abeam, Hawaii. We had continuous MU presence like that off the West Coast, off the East Coast, and a continuous forward deployed naval force operating out of Japan, both the ARG and the MU. We want to get back to that. We got a ways to go. We're not there right now. As we sit here today, we've got the 2 MU just departed the East Coast and is on cruise, and the 31st MU based out of Japan is completing their summer patrol. So that's a little bit of what's going on right now. But let's talk about adaptation, which is probably important and biases more towards the topic of this seminar, body, this venue, which is change and innovation. And I'd said it before, I'll say it again. The Marine Corps has changed. Let me provide a couple of examples how the Marine Corps has changed And again, the next couple slides really, in my opinion, are to stir the pot and hopefully get some questions coming that will earn you all some stickers here in a minute. But marine aviation, central to the success of the MAGTAF. It's powerful. All 6 functions of marine aviation, soon to be 7. If you're not witting, we're going to turn aviation ground support into an actual mission of Marine Corps aviation, which is tremendously important and relevant, a function. They certainly apply to all of our warfighting functions, and let me give you a little pulse check of what's going on, and I'll talk a little fast to get through this. We've got 8 fully operational, capable F-35 squadrons. We've completed 2 deployments on the carriers as part of TAC Air integration. As we stand here today, we've got 5 F-35 squadrons forward deployed, doing good work. We've got 2 fully operational, capable F-35 fleet replacement squadrons, and we've got 3 squadrons that are in the processes of transitioning from either Harrier or Hornet to F-35. Digress is a Harrier pilot. Moment of silence. We have 1 Harrier squadron left. This time next year there'll be none. Breaks my heart, but it's time. We have collaborative combat aircraft, XQ-58, talking about that down on the floor here. We're leaning far forward on that. We've executed a number of test sorties with that, partnered with F-35, and we're getting in the business, putting some landing gear on that and turning it into a CTOL variant and doing some more experimentation in the near term. We're pretty enamored with the CCA and what it does for us from a survivability and lethality perspective. We've executed, a CH-53 Kilo. The most capable heavy lift aircraft, heavy lift helicopter in the world, period, from New England, Sikorsky in Connecticut. MV-22 remains an amazing airplane and central to our force and our mainstay in our assault support fleet. If anyone in the world, not just the free world, wants an airplane that can take off from an unprepared zone, fly a couple thousand miles behind the tanker, land in an unprepared zone, deliver lethality, logistics, humanitarian assistance, you name it, they're coming to one place, ladies and gentlemen. It's the V-22. It's a pretty spectacular capability. It's safe. It's reliable. I'm a big fan. And then the flight controls are like a Harrier, so I feel right at home in that thing. But KC-130s. We stood up a 4th KC-130 squadron. It's in Hawaii. Terrible place to be stationed. But the fixed-wing assault support capability is biased towards the Indo-Pacific right now, and it's an important capability. And so we've got 25% more of that capacity in the operational fleet. KC-130J is an amazing platform. And this is just a sampling. Our ACE is in good shape, and as me as someone who's about to find all my platforms, that I've got NATOPS qualified in expired or retired. I've got skin in the game because my son in about 2 months will find out what he's going to fly. He's at Corpus Christi going through primary flight training, so it matters, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got a great ACE right now. What I didn't talk about on the ACE, but the next one of the other next bullet there is our unmanned aerial squadrons. We've got VMU-1 and VMU-3 flying the MQ-9A extended range with some pretty significant payloads on them, and both of them have been operating forward for over a year, one in the Philippines and one in Japan, and experiencing some wild success over there, helping contribute to maritime domain awareness, electronic warfare, collecting, and then providing an aerial gateway for comm purposes for Marines and other joint forces in a forward deployed in a kind of a tough environment from that perspective. Force protection, ground-based air defense, it's important, more important than it probably ever has been. When I was a young Marine along with Beak, we had some Stingers and we had Hawk missiles. We got rid of Hawk missiles, and then GBAD became cool again recently, right? So it's really important to us. So let me talk about some amazing capabilities that we're fielding and iterating and improving. Marine Air Defense Integrated System, MADIS. It's a pair of JLTVs that go out there that can detect, identify, and defeat both kinetically and non-kinetically low-flying aircraft and UAS. And it's something that we're going to iteratively improve the capabilities to continue to make it ready and relevant. We fielded it with the 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment. I'll talk about them in a second. They're campaigning forward, and we're learning from it every day, and it's an impressive capability. We have a lightweight variant of that that's on a ULTV, think like an M-Razor chassis, that deploys the MU that we've deployed, and these are all things that we've pushed out to the fleet that we've fielded this year. We've got an installation counter-UAS capability because our installations are no longer safe, so we have to be able to detect, identify, and defeat, and the defeat mechanism becomes very challenging depending on where the location of that installation is. Really proud of our MRIC, medium-range intercept capability. It is a Israel Tamir missile-based, think Iron Dome, missile that's been modified to work with the Marine Corps systems in an expeditionary form factor that we're going to push a prototype battery forward to 1st Low Altitude Air Defense Battalion by the end of this calendar year. They're going to experiment with it. They're going to learn from that, and then we're going to field that across the fleet to provide that ground-based air defense capability. We've got a relocatable version of that we can move to a fixed site, but it's relocatable. And then one of the things that I'm proud of is the agility we've shown across the requirements and acquisition fields, which is an important thing that we hear a lot about from from our congressmen and women, our senators, from our strategic leaders, and from ourselves. But we within our GBAD portfolio, we have made a move to identify a requirement for dismounted counter-UAS capabilities, and we have fielded 84 systems this year in order to provide Marines, not just infantry Marines, whoever needs it, the ability to, again, detect, know where they're coming from, kinetically and non-kinetically defeat UAS. That's a thing. Infantry battalion experimentation. Let's talk about our lethality first, fires portfolio. We are more lethal than ever. There was a common thought that when we divested of some of our formations that we really were getting rid of a bunch of artillery, a bunch of fires, and a bunch of lethality. It's not true. We have modified our portfolio. It's more balanced. Our approach to long-range precision fires right now encompasses certainly surface and aviation-based fires, but from the surface perspective, we fielded the Nemesis I talked about. We'll continue to field that over the course of the next 5 years till we round that out. We've fielded a full AAO, full objective of HIMARS, rocket artillery, to provide precision fires. In that case, both landward and seaward, as I stated in the value proposition earlier, of the littoral battle space. We're developing this is an acronym within an acronym. This is the one I was talking about, but there's another one. We're developing a system that's called the MLU, which stands for the Multiple Launch Rocket System Family of Munitions Launch Unit. That's a good one, right? MLU is better, which is going to take the HIMARS payloads, MLRS payloads, and put them on that rogue vehicle which the Nemesis has, which is that unmanned JLTV chassis, to make it truly expeditionary and give us the capability and the flexibility to move that thing around theater even more. And it's going to be balanced. Our HIMARS, our MLUs, and our tube artillery 777 is going to balance out our fires portfolio, but it's more than that. Aviation, we're looking certainly at programs of record like LRAS and faster is good. But we're looking at some low-cost, long-range solutions like the Precision Attack Strike Munition, PASM, which is going to be shot off our AH-1 Cobras right now, and it's a really encouraging program. We've moved fast in, and it is just what we're looking for. It's long-range, lethal, cheap, and we want to be able to produce that in volume. Infantry Battalion. Our Infantry Battalion is and will remain the most capable and lethal infantry formation on the planet, and we're ensuring that. We're wrapping up 4 years of infantry battalion experimentation that's been very deliberate through the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab, which is part of our team at CD&I, and really going to equip them to fight in a complex littoral and landward battle space of naval campaigns. Our infantry battalion experimentation work really sets conditions to incorporate some multi-domain, think SIGINT, EW capabilities organic to the infantry battalion, modern lethal small arms. If you haven't shot the M27 with a squad common optic, as an aviator, I had the chance to go out and shoot this a couple times, and it's pretty spectacular. The best part about it was I had Ben Watson, for those who know Lieutenant General Ben Watson, infantry Marine, over my shoulder, and my first 3 shots went to 100, 200, 300, and I hit the target each time, and the small steel plate. And the point is not that I'm good, is that the weapon's amazing, and we're equipping our infantry battalions and all of our warfighters with that type of capability. And we're also adding new capabilities to include loitering munitions, and first-person view one-way attack drones, which there's a whole lot of discussion about that right now. As a matter of fact, we've recently stood up in January a Marine Corps attack drone team, and what we're doing with that is we're just learning. It's not a lot about S&T, it's more about TTPs and understanding how to use those weapons and extend the range of an infantry battalion. It's exciting, it's important, we've got a lot to learn, and we're setting conditions to start to flood the battalions with some of those type of capabilities to incorporate within their fires portfolio. We're experimenting with the Mobile Reconnaissance Battalion, which is a whole new concept to replace our Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion, which really is a combination of small boats, ultralight tactical vehicles, and what we call the Advanced Reconnaissance Vehicle, leveraging a lot of manned-unmanned teaming and a quarterback role to allow us to make sense, and fight in the littorals. That's the next big experimentation effort for the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab. I haven't talked much about the Marine Littoral Regiment, but I will briefly right now. But that's something that was kind of the poster child when Force Design started, because it is a unique purpose-built formation in Indo-PACOM. We've stood up two. One of them is a nearing FOC, the 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment. The 12th Marine Littoral Regiment is a little behind them, but they're campaigning hard. 12th in Japan, 3rd in Hawaii, and they're impressive. They're purpose-built, light, agile formations that are operating time now, campaigning time now. People are paying attention to what they're doing. They're building partnerships. They're equipped with modern capabilities and they're our priority for fielding. But the point I want to make is a point I made earlier too, is we're fielding across the entire Marine Corps with all the capabilities I'm talking about. They're the priority formations for many of these capabilities. We're prioritizing, and it shouldn't be last. If Lieutenant General Steve Sklenka saw that I put logistics combat element modernization at the bottom, he'd be sad, but it's the pacing function. That's clear to us. We have a lot going on there. We're modernizing and prioritizing modernization and resourcing and investments in key capabilities across our logistics portfolio, multimodal distribution, and I've seen some really great examples of that over the past couple days here. And I tell you that one of the things that's most encouraging is we're looking at a lot of unmanned capabilities to do that across different, unmanned aerial systems, unmanned surface, and unmanned ground systems. And the approaches to collaborative autonomy, and to unmanned that I've seen just in the past 2 days are pretty special, pretty spectacular, and certainly relevant. We're working on log IT functions that we can fuse log IT with ops intel fires, one pane of glass, and build a command of the situational awareness they need to fight, because logistics is really an operation, not a function, if you ask me. But it's important to how we fight. We're developing a shore and afloat pre-positioning nodes and outfitting them as best we can. We're moving out with logistics. So that's hopefully an example that the Marine Corps that we have today is different from the Marine Corps that we had 6 years ago. For certain, we are certainly adapting. I want to talk briefly about ships, amphibs, and here's what I will tell you. Our amphib warship readiness is not good. You may have heard, we're well aware of that. We're having an honest, gritty discussion at the most senior levels to get after just this. We need to fix what we have. We need to buy what we need. There's a lot to unpack here. It includes certainly our industrial base and partners, and many of you may play a role on that. I'd be happy to discuss it if we have questions, but know that that is a very real thing and has the highest level of attention. The recent LHA LPD multi-ship procurement, near and dear to Secretary Gerten's heart, was in the seat when that happened. Thanks again, sir. It's a great start, but it's not enough. There's more to do. We're grateful for the support from Congress. We're grateful for support from our Secretary, from our OPNAV partners, fleet commanders, and industry, to continue to work to deliver this critical component that will undergird not only our 31-ship amphib min requirement, but get us to that 3.0 ARG-MU presence that I talked about. Inventory plus readiness equals a true capability. In addition to the ARG-MU, the only other thing I'm going to talk about on this slide, unless you have questions, and you can bring them up in a minute here, is within the littorals and our concept for fighting in the first island chain time now. It applies elsewhere, but in that specifically, central to that is our ability to set, sustain, and maneuver for all the right reasons, if you understand what I mean by maneuver, the force, which is reliant on what we call the medium landing ship, or LSM. The LSM has been a bit of a challenge programmatically. I see the reaction, but I tell you what, we had a challenge, came up with a solution that was overcost and wasn't going to fit the bill for us. And I'm really proud of the work that's been done in the past 12 months. And where we sit right now is about to make investments in a non-developmental item. That means it's an existing design. We're looking at 2 designs. We'll neck it down to 1. And we're going to start procuring very, very soon. And it's less than half the cost of what was coming across with the RFPs that we're dealing with over a year ago. It's good enough. We're eager to get it out there, and it's late to need right now. So late to need means we're actually investing in a bridging strategy, which means we're using different creative solutions, many contract solutions and the like, to enhance, facilitate organic mobility, maneuver, and sustainment of the forces in Indo-PACOM time now, which is one part. You know, the ACE plays a part in that. Surface ships from the navies will play a part in that, as will other capabilities that we can talk about. So again, there's much more discussed here. I'm a a knuckle-dragging Harrier pilot. My wife asks me frequently, why are you talking about shipbuilding and what do you know about shipbuilding? And I tell her a lot more than I did a year ago. So it is what it is. It's important to us, and it's what we're getting after. Okay. Busy slide. Don't sweat it. These capabilities, there's a couple points I'll make about this slide, and again, use it as a primer if you have questions about something. If your eyes are better than mine, you can actually see what's on the slide. But the capabilities that are depicted on these are either programs of record, fielded prototypes, or experiments, but they're real. Back to my bar napkin or PowerPoint slide comment a little bit ago. It's important. We're moving out, and we're making good progress. But that said, I often think that the most important point of this slide is not the right 3/4 of the slide, it's those 3 pictures on the left, because we're adamant and passionate about the fact that we equip Marines. We put Mattis in the hands of Marines and get out of the way. We put systems of systems. We put F-35s, squadrons out there, and then we get out of the way, learn, iterate, improve, and that is central to how we are successful. We give Marines the gear, the guidance, set conditions for their success, get out of the way, and it's worked out marvelously for nearly 250 years, and it will continue to do just that. The only other topic I want to talk about briefly on this slide is what we call Project Dynamis, and I don't know if you've heard of Dynamis. The thing of Dynamis is the word's been out there on the street for a while as the Marine Corps' contribution to Joint All-Domain Command and Control. It's been nebulous, it's been vague, and I'm adamant now that we're going to define it programmatically, what it is and what it is not. But if you ask me, I'll tell you that it is a technology accelerator executed in partnership with the Navy's Project Overmatch to accelerate the advancement of our command and control and targeting capabilities that undergird our ability to command and control and target. There's a difference there. It's subtle. In contested environments, it represents really a transformative approach to adopting and integrating mature commercial technologies to orchestrate, to manage, and to share data across warfighting functions at echelon to deliver our warfighting decision advantage. It's important to us, and we're moving out on that, and I think we're in a good place. We have a good team getting after that. And those of you that know Vice Admiral now Seiko Okana, who's the new Principal Military Deputy, today it's in our DNA. She's a wonderful leader and comes from the Overmatch team and will be certainly helpful in that capacity. Let me just mention a couple more things that are not on this slide, but worthy of mention to this crew. One, we're rethinking how we fight from bases and stations. Our bases and stations are power projection platforms in ways they didn't used to be, because they're now operating in multi-domain contested environments. I talked a little bit about that with the Counter UAS. It's that and more. Quality of life means a lot to the readiness of your Marines and your force. The Commandant's Barracks 2030 plan is the most consequential infrastructure investment in Marine Corps history. It's a clear priority for the service. It provides safe, modern living conditions for our Marines. We're implementing it. Modern talent management policies to recruit, retain the best. We're modernizing our talent management policies to recruit and retain the best. I'll tell you, our Manpower Reserve Affairs folks, I don't know if there are any alumni to that in here, but they didn't used to be good at saying yes, but they're really good at saying yes right now, and it matters. We're modernizing our training and education, how we train Marines, beginning with recruit training, continuing throughout their time in the Marine Corps to ensure we continue to instill in our Marines a maneuver warfare mindset to account for the evolving character of war while continuously upholding the rigorous standards that make disciplined Marines the foundation of a lethal and effective MAGTF. A few additional points before I close. One, we've got to accelerate our modernization effort, and our campaign of learning is central to this. We need to field faster and at scale. I've said that at least 3 times. I'm very passionate and working hard within CD&I to modernize how we modernize the Marine Corps, to have a true data-enabled approach to our modernization with an analytic underpinning. And one of the other points I'll make is in the past 6 years, we've increased by over 400% the number of classified programs that we deal with. So it's a different approach to how we modernize. So modernizing how we modernize the Marine Corps, and I think that adaptation, back to a couple slides ago, is going to be central to our continued success. So I've covered a lot in a couple minutes here, and you've seen over the past 6 years, with overwhelming support from Congress, we've made substantial progress across the entire Marine Corps. It's been a cooperative effort, constantly refined by our Fleet and Marine Forces industry, the Joint Force, and the Navy. And because of that cooperation, we've achieved results, and we're maintaining some impressive momentum. We should be proud, we should be happy, but not satisfied, and that's what I try to convey a lot, happy but not satisfied. Let me mention a couple things that will not change, and I'm going to ask Sergeant Major if he's got any fill-ins, because that's one of the things he's good at, is catching things that I miss, and then we'll have a conversation. One, your Marine Corps is a warrior culture filled with amazing, disciplined, committed, and capable men and women. Performance matters, discipline matters. That will not change. We're recruiting, retaining an amazing cohort of Marines. We're exceeding recruiting and retention goals and maintaining our standards across the board. We are very, very proud of this, ladies and gentlemen. We're our nation's expeditionary naval force in readiness, elite soldiers from the sea, naval. We equip Marines. We provide material, non-material solutions to create capabilities, resources, and best set conditions for them to be successful. They amaze us. I've said that already. Adaptation is in our DNA. We've done this before. We can do it again. We're doing it now, and it's going to happen again. Business is good, ladies and gentlemen. But before I close real quick, Sergeant Major, I'd like to offer you any thoughts, observations that you have from your time at 1MEF or your time in CD&I. Sure. Anything, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity, General. Thank you very much, sir. Just want to highlight a couple things that the General mentioned. I want to provide some color context. Why is the Sergeant Major up here talking to industry partners about modernization and capabilities development for the future fight? Why is the Sergeant Major up here? The General has an awful lot, a whole stable of really, really good officers. Really good, some of the best tacticians, best planners, best commanders that now taking that into capabilities development now. Some of the very best in the Marine Corps, clearly, and some of the very best in the DOD. He's only got me for worrying about and focusing, hyper-focusing on how does this affect the actual Marines and the tactical units that are down on the lines. And why that's important, because in a fiscally constrained environment that we all know is uncertain, it's challenging right now, for the Marine Corps, the Commandant, for every dollar the Commandant has to spend, 68 cents goes to people. That's the challenge that he has, and we are not going to come off that. It's important. But we've also learned through necessity that we cannot recruit our way out of this problem. It is a challenging recruiting environment as well. But getting the best talented people is not a matter of recruiting a number amount of people and then getting rid of the rest of them and shedding them. So we've focused entirely and very acutely on retaining some of our very best, so we can then depressurize the amount of people we have to recruit into our force. Why that's important is because maintaining those individuals is how we're going to actually make this capability and these slides animate and come to life. These individuals that are out there on the line, it's interesting. I'd like to share with all of you real quick, because many of you in the room with our industry partners, you serve. Our veterans that have worn the cloth and the fabric, you serve. The threads are all through it. For those of you that have been around for a long time, I just wanted to tell you thank you. Thank you, because there are thousands, tens of thousands in my world. I won't speak about other services, I wouldn't dare. But United States Marines will never know your name. They'll never meet you, but they will clearly benefit, because the Marine Corps has the youngest service by a mile, by a country mile. About 172,000 Marines as of the morning report this morning. About 172,000, 65% are age 25 and younger. Those Marines are the majority that are doing the heavy lifting, and then they will do, when it goes down to brass tacks, they will do the majority of the fighting and the dying for us. And they'll never meet you and get to see the passion you have for what you are doing for them to attack these problems. I want to share with you a couple things, why it's important for people in this discussion. We talked about retention for FY25, for fiscal year 25. We're nearing 110% for both first term and subsequent term enlistments for our force. We're about 110%. We're nearing 30% for fiscal year 26 right now. And that's not magic. That's not we're enticing them with money or duty stations or bonuses or any of that stuff. They are starting to truly believe, through consistent pressure and consistent effort, that we understand the problems that they are dealing with. You all know better than anybody else. The Marines understand about modernization. They understand the problem set in front of them. They understand it more than I did 32 years ago. They understand the problem set because they are living it every day. What they really appreciate is that everybody understands it and people are trying to get after it with energy and enthusiasm. The pressure on us now is that we have to be able to make sure our development capabilities match the commitment, the aggression, and the bias for action that they have. They're starting to feel that, and that's why they're staying. No one comes in the Marine Corps for an easy life. We don't promise them a good rack, a great barracks, or great duty stations. We don't do that. Our commandant says our Marines don't ask for much. They don't. Marines don't ask for much. They really only ask for the opportunity to be the first to fight. They want to get in there and get bloody and punch somebody. That's what they want to do. You're enabling that in your way. We're talking about increasing retention and the credibility of the forces that we have. We are retaining incredibly high quality young men and women. Incredibly high quality. And they have choices, and they are choosing to come to us and stay here. What that's doing is depressurizing our fiscal challenges already, because we're able to keep them in, not train brand new individuals. And then these individuals, Marines, are able to really start accelerating the learning. Like the general said, we want to get equipment, 65%, 70% is good enough. Get it in their hands. And they want to fight with it. They're going to sit there and they're going to torture test it and stress it out. And they will think about ways to use the gear that we didn't even think about. And that's not why it was made. And that's what we want to do, is put it in their hands. That's important because, once again, in the Marine Corps, 172,000, about 100,000 is the operating forces. And the CG mentioned it, 30,000 forward stationed, forward deployed in over 40 countries, 6 of 7 continents. Right now, they're in every geographic combatant command. Your Marines are busy. They really are. But they understand that with capabilities development and emerging new technologies, that they have to be able to fight tonight, today, with today's kit, today's formations, with today's gear. They have to be able to do that, so they're understanding that. What keeps them in is not the problem that's in their face that they research every day. They are more in tune and they are researching on their own. If we don't give them information, they will come to their own conclusions about the problem set. So we actively try to make sure that they understand what the problem is wholly, and that we appreciate the problem even down to their level when the general goes right down to the lance corporal in the field and asks them about this technology and how's it working. You ask them, they will tell you. They're brutally honest about it, just like we want them to be. The Corps enables the Marine. Sometimes we hyper-enable them, but that's our ability to be able to get into the fight, into the first island chain and weapons engagement zone, and persist in there and create dilemmas, create problem sets that the enemy can't stay on cycle with. That's what we want to do. A few things I'll tell you is when we do this, empowering the junior Marines, enlisted an officer, bringing them into the wicked problems is important, because now they feel like they're part of the problem. They are part of the solution. They are now going to fix it. Most Marines were simple creatures. Most Marines came in because they want to be part of something. A former Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps used to say, Marines come in for 3 things. And I've heard it 20 years ago, and I've been trying to disprove it, and I can't do it yet. Marines come in for 3 things. They're looking for something, they're running for something, or they want to be part of something. And when we bring them in, explain to them, and get down and talk to them about these capabilities and these development processes that we are trying to bring about, they now feel that they have a voice, and they are now part of the solution. They feel they are part of history when they do that. If you do that, people say you got to get the Marines to understand the why. You got to get the young troops to understand why. Colin Powell has a great story when he was Secretary of State, and he goes down from the building, he goes and walks around the garage, and he sees a garbage man who's cleaning and picking up trash, and he asks him, hey, what are you doing? How you doing? What do you do here? And he doesn't say, I collect trash or pick up stuff or pick up after people. He says, I'm making a difference in this world. I'm doing something here and making this great building come to life and allowing all these people to be able to do great things for our nation that I was able to come to. The why is built in when we make sure we translate to the Marines what we're doing, why, to address what problem we think they have. What say you? That becomes a different narrative and a discussion for them. The why becomes built in if we do that. I'll offer you this, though. 68 cents for every dollar, people. That's expensive. These new capabilities, we have to be keenly focused on and we're really successful and we really start to get it right, who's manning this equipment? Who's going to be doing it? It can't be a new person with new training, because then we have to shed old stuff. And we don't never like to get rid of old stuff. What is the training pipeline? What is the human that has to be operating that new capability? What's that going to look like? Is it an additional capability for people we don't have? Or now we have to get more people in a challenging recruiting environment? Or is it something that's simple enough that we can give it to an additional Marine, or Marine who has additional tasks and additional competencies that are aligned very similarly to something they're already doing? That becomes difficult, and the discussion often dies because we simply don't have the structure or the people to be able to operate new things. That becomes a reality that ends great initiatives. Last few things I'll tell you is this. Your Marines have more than a casual relationship with technology and innovation. They love it. They love it. They feel that that is their way to contribute to the one thing they all came in for. I talked to a 20-year-old or a 42-year-old, and out in the fleet, in the field, been there every 2 weeks out of every month, or they're in the Philippines, sweating, dirty, filthy, smelly, and loving it. Those individuals out there, they want to be part of something. Legacy is that thing that is that cherished thing that is handed down to us by those that came before us. When we get them into this innovation space, they love it so much, they feel like that is their ability to contribute to the Marine Corps' history and legacy, because they're part of that solution to the problem. We do not have the flexibility and the ability to dream up these things, and I know you're not, but the discussion really should be, and is most impactful, who's going to run this equipment? Are they going to is it a new person? Is it an additional thing? Are we going to task saturate our Marines who are in crisis? That's important. Last thing I'll tell you is this. On behalf of 72,000 Marines, 100,000 Marines that are deployed in over 40 countries around the world right now, thank you. They'll never meet most of you. They'll never see you. But thank you. Those are the ones that will value from your hard work, your passion, every bit as passionate as they are taking care of their buddies left and right of them. They'll never know who you are, your name and face, that you are fighting for their ability to be able to fight the next battle space, the next war, and the next thing around the corner. And being able to hyper-enable them so they can come back and achieve the mission and go to the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, just a small opportunity to thank you all for everything that you're doing. General, it's great to be here, sir.